All right. I see Steve Brock on here. Thought I saw Steve Brock on here. Steve, we're getting you back in the fold.
Coach Steve's been out being fabulous. Right?
Been too busy have you been too busy being fabulous, Steve? You guys don't know this, but Steve and I flew back somewhere on a plane together, didn't we, Steve? And we sat beside each other, and as most people will tell you, I don't typically like talking to people on planes. So, so I sat beside Steve and I said, man, I like you enough to actually carry on a conversation with you, because typically I get on a plane, if I'm flying commercial, I put out a vibe that says, don't talk to me, right? Just because I like reading and studying and all those things. So thank you guys. Welcome back to episode 2 of our 5-day challenge on Pray Drive, the GoPro challenge. And today we're going to talk about really something that I personally really enjoy talking about. And let me tell you why, because I think this is something that really changes the game for people. All of this, as you know, is from my new book called Flip the Switch, which is coming out January 31st. Everything I'm doing right now is in a promotional cycle to push that. So thank you to all the people who, and Craig told me to ask, how many of you guys have actually pre-ordered the book? Raise your hand if you pre-ordered the book. Craig said, call them out, Coach. Pre-order the book, okay? John, you going to order the
do it for you, but there he goes.
Well, if you haven't pre-ordered the book, I really want to encourage you to do it. There's a big reason. There's a big reason we're trying to hit a Wall Street Journal bestseller. And the truth be told, I just can't do it without you guys, man. It is 100% not easy to sell 10,000 units of a book. And trust me, I think we're a little over 4,000 as of today. Craig updates us weekly. And so every day we're out promoting, man. And hopefully what I'm trying to show you is I'm trying to teach you how to do something while I'm doing it, right? I'm trying to show you that nothing happens until you learn how to promote and you learn how to market. So if you pre-order the book, when you pre-order the book, you also get a spot at my January 13th event called Activate. It's a full day of coaching. Trust me, the $26 will be well worth a full day of coaching with me. And so Eric, make sure you post the link for people to pre-order the book. We'll take you through the thing. You just go to Amazon and buy it. You come back and and show us your registration, and then we want to see it. And if you have a desire to be in the room that day and you live close by, Coach Breeden's bringing 30 softball players, I believe, to the lodge on that day. And man, I love that. So if you're interested, people that buy 10 copies come in person, and we're going to have a full day. I'm expecting probably 150 people plus 1,000 online for the virtual. Now, we're in a series called GoPro, and I was thinking about this. I was thinking about this morning at 4:15, because that's when I woke up this morning to go to the gym. And I was thinking about this decision. What does GoPro mean to you? Okay, what does it mean for you to go pro? Does it mean that you live the life of your dreams? Does it mean you're considered the best at what it is you do? Does it mean you make X number of dollars per year? Does it mean you're in the upper echelon of people? Does it mean you make commitments and you keep those commitments? Because it's very important when you hear me say, leave your amateur desires behind and make a simple decision to go pro. Well, that's the easy part. Making a decision, in my opinion, is the easy part. The hard part is following that decision up with time, interest, energy, and money. Okay. So the easy part was last night, me telling myself, I'm going to get up at 4:15. I'm going to be at the gym at 5. I'm going to spend an hour with my kids. I'm going to stay true to my nutrition diet. I'm going to go out there and prospect for 2 hours like I teach people to do. I'm going to follow up 7 to 15 touches. I'm going to generate 25,000 a day in the coaching business. Like, to me, I'm going to back up my decisions with actions. Like, to me, that's going pro. Going pro is actually manifesting and becoming what you say you're going to become. Okay. It's actually, man, I'm going to go out and be one of the top thought leaders in the world. Okay. I'm going to go out there and be what I said I was going to be. I'm going to build greatness factories, and we're going to have success schools, and we're actually going to do. And many times the best compliment we get, just to be honest with you, is people who follow us who say, Coach, I hear you talk about these things and you do it. The biggest thing is you go do what you tell people you're going to do. And that inspires me. Okay. So today we're going to be talking about why do people do what they do? And we're going to call this habit number 2 of the top 1% of performers. And this is called intrinsic motivation. Okay. Intrinsic motivation. And this kind of put me on a path to thinking about why would I get up at 4:15 to be at the gym at 5? Why do I want to spend an hour with my kids in the morning? Why do I want to purchase retreat sites? Why do I want to have a Wall Street Journal bestseller? And it all comes back to really understanding this intrinsic motivation. So let's look at motivation as 2 ways. There's external motivation. That means you do something to get something. Okay. You want recognition from people. You want money. You want, and I'm okay with external motivation. If Christy Payne comes to me and says, I want to make $10 million and I'm motivated by that, I'm perfectly fine with that. It doesn't make her a bad person. Okay. But there's external motivation, and then there's internal motivation. And internal motivation, what I like to refer to as because goals. Okay. And a because goal is a big reason a person does something when they don't feel like doing something. Okay. So I was going through, so a because goal is typically deeply intrinsic. So I was watching the documentary on Tom Brady. And then he has like 7 or 8 episodes on Tom Brady. And one of the years he was playing the Atlanta Falcons in the Super Bowl. He was down by 20 something points at halftime, playing terrible. And he came back in this tremendous comeback in the second half. And they end up winning the Super Bowl, right? And it was like one of the greatest comebacks of all time. And they asked Tom Brady why he flipped the switch and did that. And he said, because I flew my mom in for this game and my mom is dying of cancer. And I didn't want my mom to see me lose that Super Bowl. It was important, right? That's a big because goal. Okay. So think of because goals are big reasons, typically because you had some big revelation that causes you to take an action when you don't feel like it. Okay. So let's go to this GoPro challenge, because I believe there's a difference between amateurs and professionals, because I believe in getting up early, getting in the gym, because when I feel better and look better, I perform better, because I want to spend time with my kids in the morning, because, me laying there, me laying there at, in the mornings with my son for an hour and having that time that I don't feel stressed or rushed or pressured, and I could just have that time with him. That's important to me. That's a big reason I get up at 4:15 so I can work out at 5, so I can be home at 6. If I was selfish, I'd say I'm gonna sleep another hour. I'm gonna get up at 6. I'm gonna work out at 7. Guess who I don't see? My kids. So what I'm willing to do is willing to get up an hour early, although it sucks. Thank Craig for having a 5 a.m. workout at Rockbox. But the truth is, I am always at my best when I'm in there at 5 o'clock. I'm not at my best when I go in at 4:30 in the afternoon. I'm not at my best when I go in at 12:30 midday. I am always at my best because I have gotten this win in the morning. I told myself I was going to do something, Kelly Eisler, and I did it. I told myself I'm going to get in bed. I told myself I'm going to get up. I told myself I'm going to drag my butt to the gym, because I perform at a higher level when the conditions are right for me. Every person on this call knows when they perform at their highest level. There's a time in your life when you were performing at a great level. There's a time when a psychologist would call it a flow state. I get into this in the book. Okay. And I studied The Art of Impossible by Kotler to write the book. I studied Big Because Goals to write the book. And psychologists call it a flow. And a flow is a rhythm. And it's like you're in the zone and things are working. And only you know when that time is. Okay. For me, it's when I'm doing this. Okay. Now, I think a lot of intrinsic motivation has to do with, so one, because goals. Do you know your because goals? And number two, are they big enough to fight through your feelings when you don't feel like doing something? Okay. When you don't feel like doing something. Okay. Number two, I think intrinsic motivation has a lot also to do with identity. See, the greats develop a concept of themselves, typically very early in life. And that concept cannot be broken by other people. Okay. So somewhere along the way, you may have made up your mind, you're going to be great. You're going to be the best. You're going to be special. You're going to be somebody. You're going to do big things. See, the greats develop a concept, that's identity, of themselves, that they believe they can do great things. And other people can't break that concept. Adversity can't break it. People's opinion of them can't break it. Setbacks can't break it. Okay. All empires are typically created by one person, protected by one person, started by one person, protected by one person. Okay. And so a lot of intrinsic motivation is, where did that come from? Where did that come from that you made up your mind you're going to be somebody in the world? When did you make a decision that you were going to be somebody, that you were going to do something great? And why? This is not finding your why. This is not purpose. This is identity. Okay. So if you're leading a team, let me just ask Coach Breeden, when you, Coach, unmute yourself. I want to ask you a question. When you have players that come to you from winning programs, okay, because he's a softball coach, he's won championships, just like me winning champion. When you have players that come to you from winning programs, is there a difference than players that came from losing programs, but they were talented kids?
Right.
Yeah, there's definitely a difference in that, because they have expectations. They have expectations of winning. And then in turn, we don't recruit very often kids from non-winning programs because they've already got that in them. And I don't have to instill that in them. They're already used to winning. They got the expectations they're going to win when they hit the ground running with you. So, yeah, we're looking for big players from big teams.
Now, when I was a high school, thank you. When I was a high school basketball coach, college recruits would come to me and say, man, we'll take any kid that plays for you for 4 years, because we know they have high expectation of themselves and they have strong identity and they've got big intrinsic motivation because you've pulled that out of them in 4 years. In essence, you're producing your own little greatness factory. Okay. This is really what I want the success school to be for kids, is you send your kids there because you want your kids to be great. The expectation of your kids is raised. The standards are raised. The identity is instilled. You are somebody. Okay. So the first thing I did at Riverdale when I took over that program is I tore everything down because they didn't know how to win. Locker rooms, offices, everything. I completely redid everything. And from the time those kids walked in, I started telling them, you're the best. You're here because you're the best. We are the best. We are the best in the world at what we do. And it took me 4 or 5 years to convince people of this. But that has a lot to do with identity. So think of identity as, how do you see you? How do you talk to you? Do you think you're worthy of being great in the world? Okay. Now, let me show you another thing. When we do the exercise from A to B, A is where you currently are. B is where you're trying to get to. Okay. Yesterday, I talked about remarkable boldness. Almost everybody on this call knows exactly what they need to do. Okay. Almost everybody on this call knows exactly what they need to do. It takes boldness to take actions because you could fail. It takes boldness to hire people because you could lose money or you could make money. It takes boldness to take your vision and do something with it. So if you get sick and tired of being at A, you will move to B. But if you don't have enough intrinsic motivation, because goals, you'll never see it through to its logical conclusion. What you'll do is you'll start and quit and start and quit and start and quit. And this becomes a vicious cycle. Okay. Just remember, your brain has 3 abilities: sees a vision, then your own brain will actually talk you out of it. Your own brain will tell you it'll take too long, it'll be too hard, it'll cost too much, it ain't even worth going through this, right? Big time people hear that and they just keep fighting because their because goals are big enough. Okay. When people ask me, why do you go as hard as you do? Because I believe life rewards people who put in the work. See that because goal? Because a coach poured into me when I was 15 years old. and when I was 6 years old, because I was raised by a single mom who taught me the value of work ethic, because action has never led me wrong. When in doubt, I always took an action. See my because goals? Because I want to be the best at what I do. Okay. So for you, if you don't have big because goals, you literally will just repeat this vicious cycle of having visions, but you'll never see the vision through to its manifestation. And I can't tell you how many people, right? Paul, you were on there with me yesterday on that call with Master of the Stage. How many people in there said, I feel stuck. I don't know what to do next. I got a vision or a dream or a goal. See, here's what I would tell you. Take an action toward that goal. I don't care what it is. Pick up the phone and call somebody who can help you. Do your first video, but don't sit in inertia. Take an action, right? Because I believe opportunity always follows people who take action. And so when I don't know what to do, Christy Payne, I pick up that phone and I call somebody. I text somebody. I follow up with somebody. I watch something that gets my prey drive activated. I get my booty in the gym in the morning. And when I leave, now the prey drive is activated. I woke up tired, and then I took action, and now my prey drive. Now Craig's got me documenting this, so I'm literally talking about in the morning. Hey, it's 4:48. I'm getting up right now. I don't want to go to the gym, okay? But I'm going to the gym. Then I'm documenting when I get home. Man, look, it's 5 o'clock. I'm feeling better now. I'm spending an hour with my son. I'm feeling better. My confidence is higher. My day's going to be better. See, what I'm doing is I'm tapping into that intrinsic motivation. And sometimes intrinsic motivation is that somebody in your past told you you'd never be any good. You'd never do anything. See, when I was at Riverdale, they always told me as a basketball coach, this will never be a girls' basketball school. It'll be a football school. You'll never win a championship here. I bet I heard that over and over and over. And that actually activated my prey drive and tapped into a lot of my intrinsic motivation to want to just show somebody that I could do it. Okay. So what's the big lesson here? And then we'll let Craig talk about winning the mental battle of the day, standards, and how intrinsic motivation is attached to the body. Because I would tell you 100%, when I look better, I feel better. When I feel better, I do better. When I do better, I generate more income. I have more energy. I've got a better state of mind. And that's all associated with what I got up this morning and did with the body. And the consistency of it is it becomes habit and it becomes normalcy. Okay. So intrinsic motivation. What is your identity? Do you see yourself as the best? Will you let other people break that? And A to B, what are the big because goals to move you from where you are to where you want to go? Now, Craig, how does intrinsic motivation affect the body and the mindset of mind and body?
Well, I mean, 100% what he said is what you need to think about. Because if you think about like the pursuit of happiness, Thomas Jefferson put that in our founding documents, right? And, you know, I'm big on Dan Sullivan right now. Coach pushed me onto the Cash Confidence book. And I just read the, Gap in the Gain. And it made perfect sense that what we do in life is pursue something we don't have. And what does that leave us in the gap right now? So what do we do if we feel empty? And so essentially, if we're looking at like motivations, happiness is not the thing that we should be going after, although it's the thing that everyone's attempting to reach. I want to be happy. But I mean, you could take drugs, drink alcohol, and do all the things that may not be good for your health or your body or for your bottom line, right? And you can get happy, you can get high, you can get all these things that are going to give you a lift, but they're temporary. What Coach is talking about is essentially looking at long-term lasting effects that have something that I deem is the chase in my life is fulfillment. You know, at the end of the day, when you feel that you're doing something that has long-lasting implications, and usually it's for someone else outside of yourself, is when you actually have a general sense of fulfillment and purpose in life. And so, you know, what this is going to do to your body is going to change your endorphins, your mental state, your clarity, your focus. You're going to get up early. You're not going to sleep in. You're not going to hit the alarm clock. It's going to give you the ability to say, you know what? I don't even have a choice right now. I'm pursuing something for me. If you're in the military, you know, although I haven't been in the military, I think it would be fun actually doing boot camp. I'm weird like that. But, you know, going in and having somebody tell me what to do and being on a strict regiment, it's like you don't have the choice to say no. And when you have a deep sense of fulfillment and purpose, you don't allow your emotions to stop you because they're the worst thing for you. They want to be in a state of homeostasis. You have to understand your body by design does not want to go outside of hard. It wants to stay in like comfortable land. That's why your body, when it actually gets cold, you get goosebumps and your hair grows and things happen. There's a trigger in response to something outside stimulating you. So what you want to do is regress and retract into a place where you're not moving outside of your little bubble. And so when you're looking at your body or your business or anything that matters, you really have to have a deep sense of moving towards a goal outside of your personal emotions, because your emotions are fleeting. We just mentioned that happiness is not really going to be the thing that's going to get you over the edge, because it's going to come and it's going to go, and it's so short term. You can listen to us today at 12 o'clock every day for the next 5 days, but what's going to happen at 4 o'clock? Life happened to you, something, stress, someone came into your life, and the day might just wander on. And so you might just get high every day at 12 o'clock because you're getting pumped up in this room. But what happens is you have your own way of getting out of, the groove. And what you need to do is say, okay, I need to know why I'm doing what I'm doing. Coach calls it because goals. Simon Sinek called it finding your why. There's a lot of different ways and ways to think about it. But what I would essentially ask you is continue to, I would ask you to do this. This is what I do when someone drops me a message in my inbox, and I get a lot of clients this way. They will start off a conversation. Well, I want to do X, Y, and Z. So coach, role play with me. Coach, you're looking to drop, say, 20 pounds. Is that right? Just play along. Yes. Not that that's what you want to do, but let's just say you did. Okay. Well, why do you want to lose 20 pounds?
Because I feel better. I look better. Because I got a book launch coming out January 31st.
Okay. Do you think 20 pounds taking off your body would be it? Or maybe is it the body fat or the health or some other version of that we're looking for? Because and I'm going to kind of play back. You're going to realize what you say out loud is what everyone else says out loud. And it's not really the true thing. You're listening to the marketing concepts. You're listening to the gyms or the supplement companies who are pushing these languages on you. And then you adopt that for yourself. You don't want to lose 20 pounds. You didn't wake up today and be like, hey, baby, I'm going to lose 20 pounds today. I'm going to look good, feel good, right? You just said it. I'm going to look good and feel good. But the 20 pounds is just the event that's going to happen. That's going to transition you into that thing. So what you need to focus on is how you're feeling when you accomplish this, because that's going to sense your fulfillment, your purpose. If you're able to complete something, you have a deep sense of pride. People say pride is ego and all these other things, but you got to have some of it. You got to have something to stand up to and feel good about when you're pursuing something. Because at the end of the day, if you got there and you didn't feel anything, you're not going to do it again. The reason why people, and I get so pissed about this as a coach, there's a lot of people that might have had a little success in their fitness journey recently, and they go on social media because now everybody has a chance to have an opinion. And they'll talk about you have to have the discipline, and you have to have the grit and the fortitude and all that. And yes, they're not wrong. But guess what, guys? As a coach, as somebody who's going to get people from couch to fit or whatever there is, you got to motivate, and you got to find the wins in every single day. You got to find that, if it takes somebody to set the goals for January 1 to start, then start, but don't stop. And then you're going to need a coach like me, Coach Burt, or somebody in your life pushing you and giving you feedback and encouraging you to continue on that journey. Because what happens is usually people will join the fat, they'll go in to start the gym, and then when it gets a little bit hard or a little bit out of their comfort zone or a little bit out of whatever it is that they feel is enough for them, they'll stop. And that's the part where you need to press on. You need to push through. And we think intrinsic motivation is that part where you could deep down and check yourself off every day. Coach and I are kind of letting you guys know that we do have something coming down the pipe. You'll probably hear about Friday, but we are going to be putting together a challenge. And really, it's going to be about some really daily challenges that you'll have to pursue and accomplish. And we feel really strongly at the end of that you're going to come out of it different. I mentioned to you guys yesterday that, if you look at somebody who's changed weight, has had an amazing transformation, 50, 100 pounds, 25 pounds, their face changes, their body changes. Do you think that's the same person? By a raise of hands, do you guys think that's the same person? I don't either, actually. I think at this point, it's a person who has a completely different mindset to shift. Something has changed. But what's going to happen is their outside factors are going to draw them in. That could be family members. I could tell you right now, family is one of the biggest things you have to handle in your life if you want to move forward in business or in fitness. You got to handle that situation. And it's a situation that needs to be handled. I'm not saying it's all, we love family. We're big about, our our values and the people that we love, but that's a situation that needs being handling, because you've been doing life your way for a long time. And you got to put your foot down and say, okay, things now need to change, and you need to be on my team, and you need to be on my side, and you need to make that public for all those who have the ability to influence you. And so that's something that you got to really consider, is the first immediate place that you're going to get thrown off is your family. And they got to be on the same page, and they got to find and get that deep value of intrinsic motivation with you. The second place is those friends, those fellowships, those places that you may go or find out. Let everyone know, these are my goals. This is why I'm doing it. This is how I want to feel at the end of it. And if I can do this, I'm probably going to motivate you, because you're going to ask me later on when I have a full body transformation, hey man, what'd you do to lose weight? It happens every single time with one of my clients. Although they're not the coach, they now have been coached, and now they have the chance to carry on and pay it forward. So that's, for me, a deep fulfillment that I look for in my life, is to say, how can I transfer knowledge? How can I transfer inspiration? How can I take what I have and give it to somebody else so we could actually make a real change in the world? We can only change so many people by our circle of influence. It takes you guys to change the people around you to who's going to change the people around them. That's when real change happens. It starts with one, but the many is what make it happen. So that's really where we're coming in today, is thinking about, you got to go a little bit deeper and ask yourself a series of questions. And I have them up right here just from my old kind of, marketing, as people are coming to my pages. You would ask yourself, okay, what caused you to reach out right now? So if you're asking yourself, and I know we're running out of time, Coach, but if you went through just a series of 4 questions, what caused you to reach out right now is what I would ask somebody. So maybe you should ask yourself, why am I thinking about actually having a change right now? What did it actually mean to me to be in this body another day, or to be in this business another day? Why am I even having the thought? So that's the first part, is actually question yourself on, why is this even important to me? So now you're writing down something that's going to say, okay, man, I really have a problem. Well, why don't I just go about my life like every other day? Because I don't want blah, 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 blah. And you're going to start giving yourself the ammo that you need. What's the number one goal you're working towards? Okay. And then you ask yourself, well, why? I want to lose 20 pounds. Why? Because you know damn well you don't want to lose 20 pounds. That's just the effect that you want. I want to feel better. I want to feel good. I want to feel healthy. I want to have better sex. I want to go to the beach and take my shirt off. I don't want to feel uncomfortable. I don't want to look in the mirror and actually see that person in the mirror and feel good about what I see. There's so many reasons on why, but you have to spell them out, because if you don't, you're never going to say the right reason, and you're always going to miss the point, and you're always going to regress. What's the number one thing you're struggling with? I don't know what our topics are for tomorrow. Coach usually puts me on that in the morning, but I have one, and I hopefully I don't spoil it for the rest of the weekend. But what's going to kill you? What's going to derail you? Identify it. Find out what is going to knock you off your track, and identify those things first. So therefore you have a plan and an action that's going to get you back on track when that actually does take place, because you know it's coming. And the last one is, what are you willing to do to get the outcome you want? Write it out. How much are you willing to spend to live another day in your body? How much are you willing to, there's many different ways you could think about that, but literally, who can help me? How do I need the help? What is going to help me get over the goals? What killed me before? Those are the things that you really want to ask yourself in a couple different sequences. And again, don't get me wrong, guys, we will put this together in a nice little package for you. And if you did not get that group, it looks like there was a bunch of emails that might have went out after. Hopefully you got them by now. But again, by the end of the series, I will make sure the links are available for you. You just got to show up. Just got to show up at 12 o'clock, and we'll make sure that you literally have some downloads for you guys. So that's all I got.
All right. All right. Thank you for that. I'll close with this. And I want to tie this to because goals. Chapter 3 of the new book, as you know, is called Screw Your Why. And it's a popular concept to find your why in the world. And I called the top 5 people that I coached at one time and said, what's your why? And they couldn't tell me. They said, it's just who I am. Notice what they said. It's just who I am. Okay. Why? Because I want to be the best at what I do, because I take a personal pride in what I do, because of these reasons. So the whole chapter 3 of the book ties into, how does your purpose find you versus you find it? How does it discover you versus you discover it? Okay. And I think for you, that is because goals. There's a reason every one of you do something, and it is because of another reason. Okay. So I just want you to get really clear. And as Craig was talking, there is a vicious cycle that I see as a coach, and it is, we start with good intention. The prey drive is activated. We fail to follow through. Now, why do we fail to follow through? Miriam, Joe DeMarco, thank you for signing up for Monster Producer. Aaron Mancuso, thank you for signing up for Monster Producer. We fail to follow through because we get distracted. That word distract means to pull apart. We become undisciplined, which means we are not a disciple to our own future. These are reasons we fall off the wagon. And then we experience guilt. And the guilt is associated with grief. We are grieving our lost potential, what I could have been, what I should have been, what I was capable of. Folks, I've studied the 5 regrets of the dying. I've studied the regrets of what people say at the end of their lives they wish they would have done. And one of them is always, I could have been, I should have been, I was capable of, but I didn't. Okay. So because of these big reasons, we take a lot of action toward what we call our B in our coaching program. So just remember, I wrote that chapter because I fundamentally disagree that you have to find your why to do something big in the world. I actually believe if you could find your because goals, you'll start taking action towards something. And when you take enough action, your purpose will actually discover you. And you'll go, this is it. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay. So this is a 5-day challenge. We will be on here tomorrow. Tomorrow's topic is a great one on connection. The top 1% of peak performers are all share these common attributes: remarkable boldness, intrinsic motivation, right? And connection is the one we're going to tackle tomorrow. How do you get better at connection? To people, to spirit, to body, to everything. We're going to tackle that tomorrow. Now, Monster Producer right now is on promotion 40% off. It's 40% off for our coaching program, and it ends the 31st of December. Okay. And so if you're interested in that, Eric White is on here. He can get you in. Craig will be sending out emails with the replays. And then Craig mentioned we will be offering a GoPro package that will include body, mind, heart, and spirit. So one of my big fundamental beliefs is that you feed all 4 parts of your nature if you want to be in the top 1% of performers. Okay. So great session today, guys.
Hang on, y'all.
Motivation.
Before you end it, give me the mic real quick, just before you end that up. You want me to go? Okay. Launch team, book launch team. We talked about it before. I literally was doing it while he was talking, popping these CRM and out. So I'm going to give you a link real quick. Let me just get to it. And I want you guys to join us. You know, we talked about it today. It's a hard battle. And anyone who has hit the book, the bestsellers, I can't talk, the bestsellers list, it's not easy. And so what we know is that you guys have supported us and you keep showing up week after week, day after day. We love you. We thank you. We want your support, and we want to find out how we can do it better. So one thing we're doing for this group is we are going to actually give you the manuscript. We teased about it. We're going to talk about it. But today I'm asking you to sign up right now. If I can get over to the link, I'll do that here in 2 seconds and give you a link. Sign up. We're going to get it in. And by the end of the week, we're going to get you guys the manuscript and talk about what the launch team looks like. It's not going to be for everybody, because if you don't do what we ask you to do, we don't want you to do it. We're not going to give any things early, but if you do for us, we'll do for you. And essentially it helps this thing go around, and it helps more people get this message. Because if you're believing us, if you're showing up and you're hearing Coach and you think this is good stuff, you're going to want to share that. Just like we said, fulfillment. You want to share the good stuff with other people. And so we need your help. And the only way we know how to do it is to ask you and to give you something in return. So I'm going to share this link. If I can get to it, I'll let Coach finish up while I get it to you.
Yeah. So what he's saying here is we got about, 40 days before the book comes out. We're actually going to give you, if you're on the launch team, a manuscript of the book prior to the book coming out, which means you'll have the entire book. We just ask that you don't share it with other people. You're kind of a special group of Navy SEALs that's helping us spread the word. When the book comes out, we're going to ask you to write a review of the book, but we're for the launch team members, we're going to give you some private access to some things, and we're going to go ahead and give you the manuscript of the book. Okay. So that's part of the launch team. So you are getting something valuable. It took me 2 years to write this book. And I think you can pull it up on your iPad and read it, and you'll have it before the physical book gets here. Those will be shipped out January 31st to everybody who's purchased the book. So if you want to be on that launch team, we'd love to have you. And it just means you're in there fighting for us, man. You're fighting with us and fighting for us. So thank you for that. So Craig, have you got a link for them?
Right now. Boom. Got it.
There you go. So if you're interested in being part of that launch team, just inner circle my Navy SEALs, promoting the book, talking about the book, giving a review for the book. then man, it means the world to me. And we're excited. And when we hit this list, you can say you were a big part of that. Fair enough. You got the thanks of a grateful coach. Okay. All right, guys. Great session today. Love you. See you back tomorrow at noon. Bring some people, bring some friends. Okay. Invite your buddies. Invite somebody who needs their prey drive activated. Okay. That's why we're doing this 5-day challenge. All right. So have a great day. Everybody needs a coach. Thank you very much for a great session.